Hello, everybody. My name is Maria Fleming from Senior Resource Network. When you need a trusted local professional, today is a very exciting day. Today we have two trusted local professionals in our community out there joining the fight to help our seniors in their needs. Today we have Tessa Barnes from American Senior Benefits. She is a retirement specialist, as well as Jessica Beltran from Beltran Senior Services, Senior Placement Advisor. Today is going to be an amazing conversation. Tessa, let's talk a little bit about your business, who you are, and why you got in the business.
Okay, well, I have been doing senior asset protection since 2009. I am with American Senior Benefits. It is an umbrella company that has around 165 different carriers. So therefore, what that means is that I am able to, I'm able to work with my client and focus on their needs instead of looking at the client and trying to pigeonhole them into a product that one company sells.
Right.
So it makes a big difference because when I started, that's called a captive agent.
Okay.
I was a captive agent, and it was hard trying to make sure that the client could fit my product. And I had to shift my mindset to, no, I need to find stuff that fits my client versus my client fitting a product. My particular business is more of a ministry, and I was sharing that with you earlier, because what I found is that seniors are being attacked. There are so many scammers out there. There are people out there that are just calling people who are new to Medicare. Oh, they're 64 and now they're getting all these phone calls. And then once they sign them up for something, they never hear from this agent again. I hold my clients' hands from start to finish. The areas that I focus on with my clients are their health care needs, their long-term care needs, final expenses, life insurance, and their retirement structures. And when my clients need me, all they have to do is pick up the phone and call my personal cell phone. They do not have to call the 1-800 number and go down a rabbit hole, press 1, press 2. And when their children need for me to help them, their children have my phone number. And I find that that's important.
That's so great, and what you do on a daily basis is so needed. And I'm so thankful that you're out here helping our seniors and helping the families of the seniors. And so when you say that our seniors are being attacked, in what way by what forms of like scams are you seeing out there?
I see all kinds of scams. I see the phone calls where they just want to just take them, and that's literally somebody trying to reach in and grab your wallet and reach out, I've seen them call and ask for Social Security numbers. For the record, never give out your Social Security number over the phone. Never give out your Medicare number over the phone. If your agent is your agent, what I find is people will call and say, hey, look, I'm with your health insurance company. And sometimes they're vague, they won't say what company. I'm with your health insurance company and I just need to update you and put you on the newest plan for this year. And then they're going, oh, okay. And they're giving out all of this information that you should never give out over the phone. I have people who have given out money because their nephew was stranded on the side of the road, or their brother was stranded on the side of the road. Never give out any information, your routing number, your banking number, your Social Security number, your Medicare number, birth dates. All of those are protected information. You should never give that out. And they're coming up with different ways, even on the internet. you have email that comes in that looks like it's from
yes.
your insurance company or looks like it's from a trusted individual. And you click on it, and now all of a sudden there's a phishing thing going on. A new one too is on Facebook. Those games. Have you seen the games where they say, "What street did you grow up on?" What here's a couple of things where we want your mom's maiden name. All of those are security questions that your bank would ask you for. So some of those games are phishing games that they're looking for that information so that they can come back later and scam you.
That's so scary. That's so scary. I know that in my own experiences, I have found sometimes when you're on your computer, a message will pop up saying that your hard drive has been corrupt, and someone can call you to fix it because, in 3, 2, 1, your computer is going to crash. And then you call the number and they link up and you give them that access to get on your computer, and then you find yourself in a very weird predicament. Now they have access to your computer, and the only way to avoid doing that is just shut your computer off.
Right.
Because that is not how that works.
It's not how
That
it
is
works.
not how that works. So thank you so much. We're going to come back around and we're going to talk a little bit about how you got in the business and why you got in the business and what your passion is. But we'll turn our attention to Jessica Beltran. Jessica, tell us a little bit about your business and who you are and how you serve our community.
All right, so I run a senior placement agency, and what I do is I help seniors locate the right senior community. There are different kinds. So there's assisted living, independent living, there's memory care. So what I would do is I would look at the seniors' care needs, their finances, location, and I would narrow it down to a couple communities so the families can go to that community, get all their questions answered, and see, if they would like that community for their loved one.
Right, right. So how are you able to reach out to, how do they reach out to you?
They call me. It's mostly word of mouth. That's how I get, most people that call me. So they'll call me and, they'll tell me, I have a loved one. I can no longer take care of my loved one and I need help. So like she said, from start to finish, I'll help them. So from the phone call till when the senior moves in, that's when I stop helping them.
So can you share with me an experience that you recently had, because you are in our network, and so with our experience working with a senior that we had, we moved him out of his home into a facility. What was that like for him? What was that like for you?
It was hard for him because we have to look at, finances, and he wanted independent living. He didn't have good credit. We went to look at an independent living community that he really liked, and they didn't accept him because of the credit. And he really couldn't afford much. So that's, I really have to try to find the right senior community, something that they can afford. So it wasn't easy.
It wasn't easy, but you got it done.
I did.
You got it done, and I liked the constant communication between Beltran Senior Services and Senior Resource Network, because with Senior Resource Network, we only have the best of the professionals in our network, the best of the best. So it's very important that, so we're like, Senior Resource Network is like an Angie's List for seniors. And so one of the things that we look for in our trusted local professional is that, their credentials. Who have they worked with in the past? Tell us experiences on, how they were able to help a senior. And also, please share with us if things didn't go as they had hoped to or as planned. And how did you You know, how did you rectify it? How did you fix it? And so those are some of very important things that we look for in our trusted local professional network. So I'll go back to Tessa. Tessa, share with me an experience that you've had with one of your clients and how you were able to help them, help better serve them.
Well, I have a lot. Recently, I had a client that's been my client for a while, and he was one of those clients that was just hard-headed.
Really?
He was hard-headed, and I had to push him a little bit in terms of the long-term care, because you brought up the facility and the credit. When we're looking at facility care and long-term care, that is one of the areas that Medicare just dropped the ball on. They used to have more coverage in their portfolio, and they don't. And so this client was not going to be eligible for Medicaid, which would pay for your long-term care. And he reluctantly went ahead and got some long-term care with me, and he got like one of the lower packages, but something is better than nothing.
Yeah.
Right.
And when he needed it, which he did, it ran out very quickly. And once your Medicare runs out, now we're talking about how do you pay for this facility? And the way that you're going to pay for that facility is you're going to use your savings, your 403Bs or your 401Ks, your checking account, and then Medicaid. And Medicaid is one of the most expensive ways to go, because in order to get there, that meant you spent everything down.
Yeah, it's hard.
And so it was that was a hard one for me, because I felt like I should have pushed harder when we were doing his portfolio planning. And I felt like I let him down by letting him have that small package. Yeah, Indiana still has a partnership with long-term care that they can utilize for people. And it costs more money, but it's worth it when you're talking about your house, your savings, your investments, and everything.
So I once heard, and I thought this is a true statement or a true story. I had heard of a lady that had passed away. She had given her daughter the house, their family home, and the daughter received a very large, sizable bill from Medicare because they paid all of these benefits, and now they want their money.
It would have been Medicaid.
Medicaid.
Yeah. Yes, because there's a look back. So, like my daughter, I only have the one daughter. If I sign my home over to her, I need to have a nice little buffer. You'd have to check your tax attorney, but I believe it's 5 years.
I think it's 10 now.
Is it 10 now? I knew at one point they were
Oh, there's a
changing.
10-year look
Yeah,
back?
they look
And
back 10 years now.
And in that time, the assets that you transfer over are still accessible to Medicaid. And if Medicaid sees that you liquidate it just so that you could get Medicaid,
Yeah.
then they're going to ask for that money.
Yep.
Oh, wow, 10 years.
Yeah.
So what things would you suggest for our audience? How do they protect themselves? What do they do to get them on the right path? Because the reality is that we'll all age
Yeah.
and we'll all need services. As a licensed professional, what would you suggest?
Well, Medicare recommends looking at a long-term care policy to protect yourself from that scenario, at home care or facility care. You also want to look at life insurance as a protection. Life insurance is more than a death benefit. There are lots of living benefits that come along with the right life insurance. Life insurance can be written in a way that if you need it for long-term care, that you can pull from your death benefit to pay that.
Oh, and then does that, what if it has cash, that cash value thing? What if they have that?
Depending on the rider, you can access it without accessing the cash rider.
Oh,
It depends on how it's written. Every policy is going to be different. Every carrier is going to be different. And that's when you sit down with a professional like myself, because what we're going to do is ask all the questions and ask your goals. And if your goal is, you know what, I need some long-term care, but I don't want to pay for a long-term care policy because in my head I don't want to go to a facility.
right.
Then you look at that life policy and say, hey, look, let's look at this. I will either have a death benefit for my daughter, or if I need it, I will have that same death benefit for me.
Oh, okay. So, if I'm understanding it correctly, you were saying that the advantage of having a policy that has the riders or living benefits,
Yes.
die too soon, or die too soon, live too long, or get sick.
Right.
Life insurance is not just for the
Right.
dead; it's for the living.
Absolutely.
So-
Absolutely.
May I say something?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You're right about that. All the advice you're giving. I see that a lot of people don't plan. They don't have long-term care insurance. They don't have Medicaid. So a lot of them are forced to stay at home. So when they come to me and they need that help, my hands are tied, and that's like the worst feeling. When they don't have the Medicaid waiver to pay for assisted living, they don't have long-term care insurance, they don't have savings. I can't do anything for them. So I always advise that they need to plan years before. And like Medicaid does look back 10 years. So I've had people, that I've tried to help, and then Medicaid was like, nope, we see what you did 6 years ago with your money, and we can't give you Medicaid.
6 years, wow. Even 10 years makes my mind go, psh.
Yeah.
Because nobody knows what's going to happen. And you're in your prime at 10 years, and
Yeah.
then something happens, you get sick, and you're like, oh, I've got to do something. You're forced to do something with your money, which is really sad, especially if you spent the last 30 years or 40 years working, having a good job, working, and then ready for retirement, but you get sick. So that's just not fair. It's not fair. So, so what are the things that, what other things are you able to, I know you do a lot of charity work and helping your community. Is there anything else that you would suggest that your clients can do to help better their situation before they get sick?
Just that, plan ahead. I know a lot don't think about it, but I mean, when that time comes, you have no choice. But you don't want your loved one at home if you can't take care of them.
Right.
So just planning ahead, learning the difference between assisted living, memory care, independent living, and just educate yourself on the resources that are out there.
Right.
Because if you have a loved one and their spouse was a veteran, they may get benefits. They may be eligible for those benefits.
Ooh, let's talk about that. You said veterans and spousal. That may be something that we could help our client, our current client right now, Mrs. P. Her husband was a vet.
Okay.
He was in the Air Force.
Oh yeah, then definitely we need to look at that.
Okay, that's so great. So with Senior Resource Network, I love when these minds come together, because before we had this conversation, I wouldn't have known to say, that's right. This is another resource, another tool. So with Senior Resource Network, we're a benefits corporation. We are a for-profit organization with a social responsibility to our seniors. And so, and our network consists of medical, legal, financial, home and auto, and personal. And within those 5 categories, there are 108 subcategories. And so, why one of our trusted local professionals, Tessa, here's job and mission and ministry is so important is because here in Indiana, let's face it, we are at the bottom of the list caring for our elders. And so we're the next generation helping our baby boomers are our Gen X. I'm a Gen X. And so we're helping our families, our parents, navigate through the digital world. And things that they've learned are going to be so helpful going full circle, but in that interim, we're able to go in and help them with those daunting tasks. You shared with me in the green room about pathways. Talk about pathways.
Pathways takes effect July 1st. There are thousands, hundreds of thousands of people who are getting letters saying that they need to change or they're going to lose their Medicaid benefits or they need to change their Medicaid benefits. And it also means that they need to change their health care if they're dual eligible.
What's dual eligible?
Dual eligible means that they receive both Medicare and Medicaid.
Okay.
And at that point, Medicaid will, for Indiana, will step in and pay most of their co-payments and their Medicare premium, which is $174.70 for the average person a month.
Okay.
If you're in Michigan, Michigan still has a spend down, so you don't know how much that they would cover. But Pathways is an Indiana program that's going to come in, and Medicaid will outsource their services to Pathways and let Pathways run it. So when your client gets these letters, I don't want them scared, because really they just need to reapply. But most of them need help doing that. And so that's why we appreciate services like yours, because with everything going on, this is hard for someone like me to navigate. And I do this every day. And so you can imagine someone who is already living paycheck to paycheck or hand to mouth, and they're getting a letter saying that all of their benefits are cut off.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And they go into a panic. And that's just not healthy. It's not good mentally. So Pathways is supposed to help, but it's scaring people right now.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
do you see that too?
To be honest, I haven't gotten educated much on it yet. I just learned about this last week.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah, Pathways is a big deal right now. Medicaid waiver programs will switch to running out of the carriers. There's going to be 3 carriers that are able to provide Medicaid services right now. And one is United Healthcare, Humana, and Anthem.
I think.
And then next year, they were adding another one. But right now, those are the 3. And so if you have someone that is on Medicaid and they're not on one of those 3,
You said United Healthcare, Humana,
and Anthem,
Anthem.
right, they need to contact their agent or contact you, and you can get them to an agent, because they're going to need to be on one of those programs. If you have a client or a senior that has had Medicaid, but they did not have any, that's a Part C, Advantage Plan Part C. They did not have an Advantage Plan, but they had original Medicare. They are going to be forced to take an Advantage Plan.
Well, what if they have a supplement?
they should not have a supplement if they have full Medicaid, because they're overspending at that point. They are duplicating their services, because the benefit of a supplement is that it's going to, you would have original Medicare. Original Medicare is going to pay 80%. You're responsible for 20%. Medicaid's going to come in and swoop up that 20%. So if you have a supplement, your supplement's going to come in and swoop up that 20%, depending on the plan that you have. Supplements are standardized plans. Insurance companies can't change them, but they can change the pricing on them.
Oh, so if they're currently they've currently got original Medicare and a supplement plan, will they be forced to go into an Advantage plan?
If they have Medicaid,
Oh, Medicaid. Okay.
right, Medicaid will push to have you on the Advantage plan,
Okay.
because a supplement is not, Medicaid isn't going to pay your supplement.
Right.
So that's 100, depending on what company you're with and what plan you're with, you're looking at $100+ a month.
Okay.
And if you can pay $100+ a month, they're in their head, you don't need the Medicaid.
Now, on a dual plan, does that pay their $174?
Yes.
Oh.
It's yes and no.
Okay.
There's something called a QMB, Qualified Medicare Beneficiary.
Oh, okay.
That's what will pay your Part B. And that is ran through the Medicaid office, but it's not Medicaid. But you can't have the dual plans without having that QMB status.
Oh, okay. So I'm going to direct my attention back to Jessica. Jessica, why did you get in the business?
Why? So I was a nurse for 10 years, and most of my those years I worked in nursing homes and assisted livings. So I always enjoyed working with seniors. So I knew that I wasn't going to be a nurse for the rest of my life, just because it was really stressful. The hours were long. There was a time I was working 60 hours a week.
Oh, wow.
And I was pregnant. So I came up with this and I opened up the business.
And so how does one open up a senior placement agency?
So to be honest, I didn't know anything. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't know anything about opening up a business. So what I did was, I educated myself on YouTube videos.
Okay.
I called a lawyer. He helped me with the contract that I need. I need a contract between me and the community, because they're the ones that pay me. That way my services can be free to help the seniors.
Oh, and that's important. I find so many seniors that wasn't able to retire well, or they had illnesses and sicknesses. So, so that is a much needed service in our community.
Yeah.
And so, where are you based out of?
I live in Elkhart, but I work St. Joe County and Elkhart County. I help people in those two counties.
And so, do you meet the clients at their residence, or?
So usually it's on the phone, but if they really want to meet me, I'll ask that. I'll give them options and they'll let me know. But usually it's over the phone. I do an assessment over the phone.
Right, right. And so, what would a typical day look like for you? Meeting with social workers, meeting with hospitals, meeting with discharged nurses. What would that look like for you?
It's never planned. It's like just go with the flow, because I could have 3 meetings in one day, sometimes 5 meetings in one day. But yeah, I don't really have like a, planned schedule.
So what is what does a work-life balance look like for you? How do you like decompress? How do you, because I know it's very stressful. Running a business is very stressful.
Yeah.
Especially when you're not making any money. And that's it's very stressful. So what are the things that you do to help you decompress so that you can be fresh for your clients and be a support?
So it's very important for me past 6 p.m. not to answer any more phone calls.
Okay,
I'm
so
not
those are your-
saying I don't.
Okay.
If it's an emergency, I will. But for the most part, I want to spend time with my children and my husband. So if it's past 6 and I want to call, my daughter's going to say something or my husband's going to say something. But, I need that time with my family.
Oh,
and that helps
absolutely.
me a lot mentally.
Right. So you mentioned you were married. How long have you been married?
So we've been together on and off 23 years. And
23
we just
years.
got married a year ago.
Oh, congratulations. That's
you.
wonderful. That's
Thank you.
wonderful. Children.
Yep, we have 3 children.
Okay.
My oldest is 22. My middle child, he's 15. And my youngest, Elisabella, she's 10 now.
Oh,
They're
my
all
goodness.
6 years apart. Isaac, he'll be 16 soon.
Oh, that's so wonderful. That's wonderful. What do you do to decompress?
That's a good question. I'm a karaokeer.
Oh,
I love karaoke. I can't hold a note, and that's the fun part, is that I know that people are over there going, "Ah."
Nice.
But I do not have a lot of stuff that I do. I enjoy spending time with my family, and my family will tell you that I don't spend enough time with them. I have 1 daughter and 2 grandchildren, and oh my gosh, they are just the joy of my life.
Yeah.
That's it. I can't even. I have pets that when I come home, I do need my pets. I have a dog, a husky named Cardi B,
okay.
and a Chiweenie named Rex, and they just,
Yeah.
So that's it. I don't do a lot. I don't have a lot of activities, but by the time you get done working, you don't have a lot of time. And
Yeah, that's true.
so you try to make it
Try to maximize
as
your
special
time.
as you can.
So on a holiday, what does that look like for you? Do you go to your in-laws? Do you go to your
Oh, I go to my daughter's house, and she is always going, "Now, okay, Mom, I don't want a lot of company," and I tell all my friends to come over.
come on over? And do you karaoke there?
Well, I try to. They have not experienced the joy.
The joy of it. I like to karaoke as well. So at my mom and dad's, so on Sundays, I always pick up my grandson unless they're out of town or something happens or I'm sick or whatever.
Do you just have the one?
I have one. Yes, he's 3 years old and he is amazing. He is so awesome. Our routine is on Sunday after church. I will go pick him up, and we go to my parents' house, and then we spend time with my folks and my brother. He lives across the street, so he'll come over. The nephews and niece will come over, and then my sister, my baby sister. So I'm the oldest of 3.
Okay.
And so one of us chooses, my mom usually will say it's our turn to cook, my turn to cook, or my sister's turn to cook, and I'm okay with that. That's fair. And it's fun. And then on Mondays, I only have my grandson on Mondays. So that's one of the reasons why I love being an entrepreneur, because I own my own time. That was important to me. Money is important, but that's not my life. That's not my top tier. It's not about the money. It's being able to have that quality time and quality life, to be able to spend it with my family, my son, my husband, and really enjoying it, because life is so short.
So I got a question for you,
Sure.
and for both of you. Have you sat down with all of your family members and said, "Tell me what your plan is"?
So I have not sat with all of my family, but I have sat with my parents.
Yes.
They're big advocates of making sure that everything is taken care of. From their site, their plot, their site, their insurance, their will, making sure that everything is spelled out. Like I said, I'm the oldest of 3, and so everything is spelled out. What they want done with everything.
Are you their person that if something happens, that you're going to be the one making the phone calls?
Absolutely.
So I'm going to encourage you to call Medicare or go on to Medicare's site and get their authorization to talk to them about their Medicare.
Okay, so yes, I have.
Yeah.
I do have that.
Everybody should have somebody else on their Medicare to talk on their behalf.
Yeah.
We have, and then so.
I have not. I do tell my husband, we haven't made plans actually, but we do talk, you know, like I tell him the situations that I see and that we really need to get long-term care insurance. I know you said the younger you are, the better. Yeah, because if I do end up in a senior community, which you never know, nobody plans that, and everybody wants to stay home, I want to be the nice one.
And also, you have children. And so,
Yeah.
and you have grandchildren. So a grandchild.
Grandchild. Mm-hmm.
People are afraid to put life insurance on their grandkids and on their kids. They're like, oh, it's a bad luck. That should not be. You want to set your children and your grandkids up for success.
Right.
And there are so many living benefits to having life insurance on children. When they get to college, they might need $10,000 for books and housing. Instead of getting a student loan, they can go to their life insurance policy and borrow against themselves and pay it back. But pay it, you know. But there are so many living benefits for little kids, and then life insurance for kids is very inexpensive.
Right.
And so I always encourage people to look at that too. Don't, start trying to train generational wealth and
Yes.
generational good habits.
Yeah.
Yeah. Expound on that. Expound on the generational wealth.
Well, life insurance is one way to pass down generational wealth, because you can overfund a UIL, a universal life policy, and that money, for the most part, is going to grow. It should grow more than if you were putting money aside in a savings account or a checking account. A lot of people have policies set up for their kids, bank account policies. But if you're putting that in a life insurance policy, then that's going to grow in cash value at a nice rate. If you're overfunding it, it's definitely going to do good. And then your kids can use that money. They can put a down payment on a house or pay for their wedding, something, and then pay themselves back instead of going to the bank and messing with their credit. Insurance companies aren't going to pull your credit to get a loan against your own policy. And so you can use your insurance policy to be your own bank, basically.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. So Senior Resource Network is hosting a gala May 4th, and I'm super excited because this allows Senior Resource Network to continue our good works with our seniors. There are seniors who have money, but there are a lot of seniors who do not. And so with this gala at the Century Center, May 4th, and that's a Saturday, so the doors open at 6:30, and it's from 7 to 11. There'll be we're going to roll out the red carpet. There'll be a professional photographer, a 360 photo booth, a live auction, and a silent auction. And they'll also come just to see who's going to win the Game Changer Awards. So Senior Resource Network is very excited to have had these two local trusted professionals in our Elkhart community and in our Elkhart community as well. So I'm super excited that you guys were both here and that you shared. Is there any piece of wisdom that you would like to share with the audience on senior services placement advisor?
Yeah, I would like for them to plan ahead. Like I said, that's very important. I can't even stress that enough. You know, look into different resources, insurances that will pay for senior communities.
Okay.
And I know it's hard to plan ahead, but I mean, everybody ages. We're all gonna get to that point. So, and another thing, I also suggest not putting your information, your loved one's information, online on any databases. There's national,
I second
there's
that.
national
Okay.
senior placement agencies that will take your information and sell it to 20, 30 communities, and they'll just be overwhelmed with phone calls. So it's, you know, better if you look for a local senior placement agency.
Very good. I'm so happy that you're within the Senior Resource Network umbrella. And so when you need a trusted local professional, you can call our number, 877-324-8490. When your loved one needs services, we will get you in contact with Jessica Beltran.
Thank you.
And also, Tessa, thank you so much for being on the show with us. Some words of encouragement and words of advice for our senior community.
Oh, I want to second what Jessica said. Oh my gosh, I can't stress that enough, not to put your personal information out there. I can't stress that enough. Also, life insurance costs more than $9.99.
Oh yeah, I've seen that commercial, and $9.99 seems like a really good idea. But how much coverage do you really get?
Right. So we want to be careful on the ads that you see on TV. That's why I'm so excited about teaming up with your network. I am just excited about that. And just again, go back to planning. We're saying the same thing. I know I'm saying it again, but it can't be stressed enough.
Yeah.
To sit down with someone, be able to look at them in the eye, and you talk to a local person. That my office is just downtown Elkhart.
Okay.
You want to be able to talk with somebody in person that is not a robo dialer or somebody that you will never see again.
Right, because that's so important. Because when you need that trusted local professional, you need to be able to contact them and not go through all the prompts, not have to go through the unknown, because at that point they're in panic mode.
Right.
And so,
oh, sorry.
yeah, no, go ahead.
As a senior, when you are sitting down with an agent like myself, have somebody that have one of your children there. That's why I said, are you that person? Have somebody there. And when somebody walks in your front door, don't be afraid to say, let me see your ID.
Right. Let me see your credentials.
Right.
So absolutely. So I am very excited about the gala that's coming up May 4th. Get your tickets on Eventbrite. And so when you need a trusted local professional, call Senior Resource Network. Before we leave, I always try to leave and close in prayer, because Senior Resource Network is a faith-based organization, and we put God first. And so I'm going to ask Tessa to pray us out, if you don't mind.
I don't mind. Dear Lord, thank you so much for bringing the three of us together to help others. I hope that the words that we said have wings and can go out. Use your gifts, God, to pass the seeds along. Thank you for everything that you've given us. Thank you for Jessica. Thank you for Maria. And help us to just do what we can do to make our seniors safe and well. In Jesus' name I come to you. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Maria Fleming with Senior Resource Network, when you need a trusted local professional.